Hi, welcome to my channel, Midwestern Vegan. I'm Sarah and I specialize in vegan comfort food. Last week I asked you which dish you'd like to make, cranberry or stuffing. You voted for stuffing, so let's gather our ingredients and get started. For this dish, I'm going to be using a stock pot. I have a 5-quart stock pot. I like to make my stuffing on the stovetop. So to get started, really simple, I'm going to use butter, 1 stick, 1 cup of onions, 1 cup of celery, and 1.5 cups of sliced mushrooms. You can buy these already sliced at the grocery store. I apparently was shopping the week before Thanksgiving, harder to find. Now you're gonna let this cook 5 to 8 minutes until your mushrooms have cooked out the extra liquid and your onions and your celery become translucent. Okay, now that our mushrooms look just how we want them and our onions and celery are translucent, we're gonna go ahead and add our seasoning. For this, I'm gonna start off with 2 cloves of minced garlic, thyme. Make sure you mince this up very finely. I minced this so small I could barely tell what it was. Rosemary, a tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of sage, a teaspoon of poultry seasoning, salt, and it looks like I'll be buying some salt after this, pepper, and we're going to stir this up and we're going to let this saute for another 3 minutes just till it releases all the flavors, because we cannot have a bland stuffing. That is not Midwestern. Not in my household. Okay, so now that I've let that cook another 3 minutes, we're down to our last 2 ingredients. Vegetable broth, and breadcrumbs. I diced these up into small little cubes and I put them on a baking sheet in the oven for 150 to 200 degrees for 1 to 2 hours, making sure to check it regularly until it's nice and dry. Making sure it's a small cube. If you have too large a chunk of bread, it's going to be very chewy. And once it's dried out, kind of like a crouton consistency, you know it's ready to go. So I'm going to toss my breadcrumbs in. I'm going to switch to a deeper scoop spoon. I love my little Rachel Ray spoon with that holder, but it doesn't have a large enough scoop because I want to make sure that I get everything coated. So we got that earth balanced butter, the seasonings, the vegetable broth. We want everything soaked in. Okay, once everything's coated, because you don't want any dry breadcrumbs, I'm going to take my lid, cover this, Turn it on its lowest function and let this simmer for 10 minutes. So now that I've let this sit for 10 minutes on its lowest setting, this actually has a keep warm setting. Then pop the lid off. Stir it up a little bit. This looks insanely delicious. You will never buy that box of stovetop pre-made again. So I like to either just serve it in my pan or pot. Or if you want to get fancy, you can get a little serving dish and load it up. If you like this recipe, next week I'm deciding against another classic Thanksgiving side, either mashed potatoes and gravy, a staple of the Thanksgiving table, or macaroni and cheese, baked macaroni and cheese. If you like my recipes, make sure you like and share down below. Comment below which dish you want to see made next week. That's my recipe. Thank you for tuning in.